Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. We're live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, very good evening. Here's what's coming up on the programme.
I've been waiting since 2019, and it's cruel, very cruel.
Winston says his triple hernia is like carrying a bag of potatoes all the time. He fears he may never get the operation he's desperate for.
Making new lives 2 years after war started in Ukraine. How does a family cope with the uncertainty of not knowing if they'll ever go home?
Sir Jim Ratcliffe is now officially co-owner of Manchester United. We'll hear from him in our sports desk.
Breaking down barriers, the rising star of the runway, hoping to inspire others. Shem J is with us in the studio.
Hitting the jackpot, the Lancashire couple celebrating a win of more than £60 million.
And it was a wet start for all of us this morning. Did it improve where you are? Well, hopefully over the next few days, some sunshine to come. I'll have the forecast later on.
Well, first tonight, the agonising wait for an operation that for one former farmer in Crewe feels like it's never ending. Winston Baldwin has been living with a triple hernia for years. Like thousands of others, his hopes of surgery were dashed by delays during lockdown.
8 consultants told Winston his condition was too advanced to intervene. But last year he was offered a glimmer of hope when 2 surgeons offered to operate. Since then, though, he's still been waiting for a date for that operation, despite being classed as urgent.
He's been speaking to our correspondent, Mel Barham.
So this is just a selection of the pre-ops that you've had?
Yeah.
Winston Baldwin has been waiting for an operation to remove his triple hernia for almost 5 years.
I don't have a life. I am more or less trapped in my room. It's like carrying a bag of potatoes in front of you, but it's there all the time. You can't put it down and put it back again. It's always with you. And people say, have you had your operation yet? No, I haven't. I'm not in control of that situation.
You want to be on television, don't you?
The dairy farmer from Crewe was supposed to have the operation at Leighton Hospital back in 2019, but it was delayed. Then COVID happened, causing more delays, and this was him 3 years ago, still waiting. Shortly after this, he was told his hernia was so large it was inoperable. Until a year ago, when surgeons at Arrow Park Hospital saw his story on Granada Reports and offered to help.
The exact words that the man used were, yes, we can do that. I could have gone through the floor with excitement.
Back in November, we came back to film Winston at his care home, thinking his operation was imminent. But despite countless pre-op appointments, he is still waiting for a date for an operation.
I was classed as urgent, and that was at the end of March last year. And I've been waiting since 2019, and it's cruel, very cruel. This is one constant blur of waiting. Sometimes you feel that you're being fobbed off. I dread the fact they've gone through all this, and then somebody will make it sound like an act of God and say, oh, we can't do it.
Winston, you're right, love.
Yeah.
His condition, which is when internal organs escape through a weakness in the muscle, has grown even more since we last filmed with him.
I had COVID about a month ago. It made the hernia grow. So I'm actually huge now, and it's made it more difficult for me to breathe and to walk. I can show you. You don't want to see it, it put you off your tea. But if you look now, my hands from my wrist, it's 3 widths of my hand, and it does frighten you, because if it goes, it's curtains.
That's the issue. If it bursts,
You're dead.
is there any part of you that just wonders whether this operation's even going to happen?
I've thought that quite a lot. You know, I really have worried that I should be left, is the right word, left in this position to just, I don't know, stay like this, limbo, and be a semi-invalid. I don't wish to be a semi-invalid. I wish to be useful. I want to go places.
And every time you get one of these pre-op letters,
I hope it's the one I wanted, but it never is.
you just want to have a date for the operation.
Yeah, basically.
Winston is due to have another pre-op on Friday, which has been brought forward from April. And whilst he has nothing but gratitude for his surgeons, he is beyond frustrated with the system that has kept him waiting. Mel Barham, ITV News, Crewe.
Well, Arrow Park has confirmed the offer of help from its surgeons, but says it couldn't comment further because of patient confidentiality. We approached NHS England, but have yet to receive a response.
Yeah, let's hope he gets that operation as soon as possible. Now, when families who were caught up in the Russian invasion of Ukraine fled to the northwest, how many would have thought that they'd still be here 2 years after that war started?
The second anniversary is being marked on Saturday with commemorative events around the region. Our reporter Victoria Grimes has been catching up with one family who found refuge in Merseyside.
Yeah.
What do you have to do? Explain it to me.
So we need to try to fish, try to catch a fish.
It was a difficult start for Hannah and Seva in the UK. With no English, communication with others was impossible. 6-year-old Hannah was so traumatised she barely spoke for 6 months. A year on, though, the difference is incredible.
What are your friends called at school?
Elsa and Aliona.
And is it nice now that you can speak English and talk to them?
Yeah.
It's changed to a good way, I think so. Because more friends, you know.
It's nice to be here.
Do you feel safer here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it scary when you were at home in Ukraine? Yeah.
The children fled Ukraine with mum Nina after war broke out. Their dad Andrei remained at their home in Kyiv. For 18 months they saw each other only on video call. But now he too is safe in the UK and they are a family once again.
I miss them. I miss them all. You know, I was so very happy to see them and to be here. And also I was very happy about the support of English people. It's amazing, you know.
How difficult was it in Kyiv?
You all know, only have a pride in your soul, you know, and you dreaming. Thanks God that you are still alive, you know, something like that. That situation.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You live with this all your life. My kids have problem with loud sounds. Military helicopters, when they hear under house, they all time find me. Mommy, what happened? It's return?
Yeah, they think it's an attack.
Yeah.
That must be difficult, Nina, for you.
It's now 2 years since the war began. Did you ever think that you would still be here in the UK all this time later?
When we arrived, we think we arrived just for 3 months. Before 24 of February 2022. We have big plans, but now I can't planning.
But with Russian troops now advancing further into their homeland, their fears for those still there are growing.
I don't know how they can live in Ukraine, because women and kids need safety place. It's 2 years. It's very long time.
People need a peace. People do not need a war.
But with no end in sight, for now they can only hope one day that they can return. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Wirral.
Yeah, a reminder of the challenging times still being faced by all Ukrainians, both here and abroad. More news now, and a man has died after falling from a building during a police raid in North Manchester. Police raided a flat at Roach Court in Collyhurst on Tuesday night. A man in his 40s fell from height after officers entered the building. Police say the raid was in connection with a criminal investigation. The police watchdog are now investigating.
The NHS is warning the junior doctor strikes will cause significant disruption to services across the northwest. People are being encouraged to use the NHS as the first port of call for health needs and only use 999 if it's a serious or life-threatening emergency. The 5-day strike begins this weekend in a row over pay.
A rescue dog from Liverpool has been nominated for the Kennel Club Hero Award. Vesper the Belgian Shepherd works for Merseyside Fire and Rescue. She's used to find survivors trapped under rubble and played a part in rescue work after the recent earthquake in Morocco. Vesper was originally trained as a police dog, but she was considered too friendly for the role.
Oh, like that story. Like this one too, because next, a young man who's really blazing a trail in the modelling world. You might recognise him from television or from an unforgettable photo shoot with the likes of Burberry, H&M, Primark or Boohoo.
Yes, Shemjay was born in Nigeria and has albinism. He is the star of the Channel 4 show New Model Agency. It follows a group of young, diverse models at a Manchester agency which prides itself on inclusivity.
Yeah, the cast are disabled, visibly different, non-binary and trans models. They all share the aim of changing the way they're represented in fashion and the wider media. So, when Shemjay came in to join us earlier, he told me what message he hopes the programme will send out.
Me personally, I don't see disability as like anything negative or like a barrier for anything. I just see it as like something that you can use like to work to your advantage. When you've got that guy like me, you know, that looks a bit different, you know, with the blonde hair.
It's a distinctive
yeah,
look.
it's a distinct feature. You don't
see
see that. Yeah, you don't see that. You're definitely going to keep your eyes on that person, and it's always a good thing to have.
And tell me, when you were growing up, how important do you think it was to see people like you or people who you might identify with in magazines and on the telly?
Oh, it's very important. I think because, you know, growing up, what you see is definitely going to influence you, and you're definitely going to like pick role models from what you see. But it's hard to do that when you're not seeing people that look like you. I think now it's definitely changing because of my environment. I'm so blessed that I didn't really suffer anything like maybe like bullying, or I didn't really like always like doubt myself. I always like had like friends and family around me to support me, and I think that really played a part into like, you know, how I like saw myself. I always saw myself as like different and unique, and I always saw that I was a person that could always bring something new to the table.
But we hear about that a lot, don't we? I wonder if there are young people struggling with things like that at the moment, whether you might have a bit of a message for them.
Oh yeah,
tonight.
definitely. Just try and be you, just try and be like the most authentic you, because at the end of the day, nobody can do you better than you can, you know what I mean? You've got something that's different, something that's unique. I believe, I'm a very religious person, I believe everyone's been put on this earth for a reason, and the fact that, you know, you're here and you're just like living life is just a blessing in itself.
And what makes you most proud of the show?
I think just what we've been able to achieve and just the success of it. I think we came in with a strong message and a strong agenda. You know, we wanted to push for diversity and, you know, inclusion.
What are you hoping to, like, you know, get out of this shoot?
To be honest, just some good-looking pictures for your Instagram.
I believe that, like, as a model, you're a brand.
And what about the future for Shemjay? What happens next?
Well, like I said in the documentary, sky's the limit. I'm just trying to see how far I can really take this modelling career.
And how important will your roots be to you when the sky's the limit and you're, you know, up with those stars?
I'll never forget them. I will never forget my family and my friends. They mean everything to me. Like, they were there from day one. They were always there to support me, especially my mum. She always used to take me to like castings where I may not get it, but she'd always take time out of work to take me, and the travel would always used to be expensive as well. So I definitely like thank her, you know, just for her support, but also my dad as well, just, you know, always being supportive as well, just having my back and just giving me advice along the way.
Yeah, well done, Mum and Dad. Thank you so much. Great to meet you, Shemjay.
Thank you.
Yeah, what a lovely guy.
Yeah, great career ahead of him. OK, time for sport now. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe is now officially co-owner of Manchester United. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, hi, guys. It's taken a while, hasn't it? It's more than a year now since the Glazers first announced that they were considering fresh investments in the club. Well, now the deal is finally done, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe says Manchester United's journey back to the top of world football starts now. He has spent £1.3 billion to buy a 27% stake in the club. The Glazer family remain majority owners. Ratcliffe, who is Manchester-born and a United supporter, is one of Britain's richest men. He's the chairman of petrochemicals company Ineos, and he describes his arrival at United as a great honour that comes with great responsibility.
I mean, it feels wonderful, obviously. You sort of have to pinch yourself a little bit. It's not something I could never have contemplated when I was younger, obviously. So it is a bit of a boyhood dream, I suppose, that they're not supposed to come true, but in this case, obviously, it did. But yeah, it's a sort of very proud moment, and I'm very honoured to be able to help take United forward.
Wow, what a dream to come true that is. And he clearly wants to hit the ground running, Mike. So what are his priorities, do you think?
Yeah, important to say this isn't his first day at the club. Ever since his investment was first confirmed on Christmas Eve, he's been at Old Trafford on a regular basis. He's been at games, he's been at the training ground, and as you can see here, just a couple of weeks ago, he stood alongside Sir Alex Ferguson at a service on the anniversary of the Munich air disaster. Now, Sir Jim and his team will now take charge of football operations. They'll be responsible for United's men's team and the women's team, and they will also hope to strengthen United's position in the transfer market. But Sir Jim will also invest in the stadium, and he's revealed today that could mean building a new stadium for the club. He's described Old Trafford as tired, and I think fans would agree with that. He's not ruled out a refurbishment, but is also open to building a new home.
It's not quite of the standard you would expect of Manchester United today, and it's fallen behind. Maybe 20 years ago it was, but today it's fallen behind. So we do need to look at the way forward for the stadium, the redevelopment of that stadium. There are clearly, two roads we could take. We could refurbish the existing stadium, or we could look at building a new stadium, and that's what we're looking at the moment. The only interest we have is in winning football matches and competing for the Premier League and competing for the Champions League. So that's our only interest in being involved in Manchester United. That is what Manchester United is about.
So there we go, a new era for Manchester United. But just to emphasise how far they've slipped in recent years, they currently find themselves 13 points behind Premier League leaders and arch rivals Liverpool, and it could be 16 by the end of the night. The Reds are at home to Luton Town, hoping to edge a little further away from the chasing Manchester City and Arsenal. With 9 senior players unavailable through injury, it's a night when the club's youngsters will get their chance.
We are where we are because of them. That's how it is, because the boys really delivered. And we'll see how many of them we will have to use, and will give the opportunity, because obviously in a good moment they all can be in. That's how it is. And we have still options there, definitely.
Tonight, an important win for Bolton Wanderers. They beat Cambridge United 2-1 away from home. Only goal difference is keeping them out of the League One automatic promotion places. And that is it from me tonight, guys.
Right, thanks very much. We'll be watching what happens at Old Trafford with interest, won't we? Thanks very much. OK, let's get over to Mary now with details of the ITV News shortly.
Coming up in the ITV News, we'll have the latest on the war of words between the government and the former chair of the Post Office. The NHS in England to roll out Martha's Rule, the tribute to a 13-year-old girl which her parents hope will save lives. The embarrassing misfire that's proving to be a headache for the Navy. And could your neighbourhood be about to get darker? How cash-strapped councils are hoping to claw back some money. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, back here, here's a question. If you won £61 million, how would you start spending it? Very quickly, I think. Bit of a tricky dilemma about what you'd spend it on, though, but it faces a lucky couple from Lancashire who've hit the Euro Millions jackpot.
Yes, 54-year-olds Richard and Debbie Nuttall from Colne won the prize in January's draw.
They were on holiday for their 30th wedding anniversary when they heard the news. It might be the start of quite a few holidays. Here's our correspondent, Anna O'Connor.
There are not many reasons to celebrate a wet and windy Wednesday. Unless, of course, you're carrying a lottery cheque for almost £62 million. So despite the drizzle, Richard and Debbie Nuttall from Colne are happy to be drenched in champagne at a news conference announcing their windfall.
dazed, it's surreal, it's a huge amount of money. Nothing that you dream of winning the lottery, but you never really think it's going to be you.
Yeah.
But it is.
Tonight's jackpot is an estimated £122 million. Let's start the draw.
On holiday in Fuerteventura, they found out they'd won half the Euro Millions draw on January the 30th. But at first they thought they may be being scammed, so flew back home to see.
You can't believe how long it takes people. When you're in that situation and you're desperate to go and make a phone call, how slow people are getting off an airplane.
Luckily, Richard's an accountant, which will come in handy. Debbie works in civil engineering. Both are working a period of notice, and they're not rushing into what to do with their fortune. Their 3 daughters and 2 granddaughters are a priority.
You know, it's enough to share. Penning left on a plane whenever we fly, and maybe even try a private jet.
Happy, obviously, really happy, but yeah, and I don't think it's just quite sunk in properly yet.
But you have bought yourself an expensive hairdryer.
Yeah.
Was that your first thought?
Yeah. Yeah.
Had you wanted it before?
Yeah. And I'd ummed and ahed about it, and then I thought, no, I can't justify that amount of money on a hairdryer, so...
Because it was £300?
Yes.
And was it worth it?
Yes.
Richard's got new golf clubs and they've bought really expensive bed sheets. Helpful as they dream what next for their multi-million-pound stroke of luck. Anne O'Connor, ITV News.
Wow.
Just thinking about what I'd spend it on.
I would definitely come into work the next day.
Oh, I would as well. Just want the boss to know that.
Here's Joe.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. A very good evening to you. It's turning colder over the next few days. In fact, temperatures are returning to around average for the time of year. More rain to come before dawn tomorrow. And then things begin to settle down. Friday, Saturday, slightly drier with a bit of sunshine. A fairly strong jet stream has been pushing fronts across the UK over the last few days, and it's a similar picture to start the day tomorrow. It will clear through to showers and drier weather later, and then beginning to settle down for Friday and the beginning of the weekend with a bit of sunshine to look forward to. Back to this evening, and under clear skies, temperatures take a bit of a tumble tonight. It's certainly feeling colder than the last few nights, and then cloud will build, winds pick up, and from the southwest, the early hours of tomorrow morning we'll see that rain band moving in, some of which will be heavy. And as it meets the slightly colder air up on higher ground in the Lakeland Hills and the Pennines, there could even be a wintry mix, maybe some sleet and hail as we head through towards dawn. Most of us, though, keeping away from freezing, 5 or 6 Celsius tonight. On to tomorrow. The sun times, it is up at 7:16, setting at 5:34. Quite a wet start to the day again tomorrow, much like this morning, but clearing through quickly, and we'll see skies brightening rapidly from the west during tomorrow morning. And then after lunch, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, lots of dry weather around, but with the colder air, perhaps a little bit of sleet and hail in the mix, especially up on higher ground. It'll feel colder, 8, maybe 9 Celsius at best tomorrow, and a touch of frost tomorrow night again. Looking ahead, Friday and Saturday are really nice, but there will be some rain later on Sunday. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thanks, Joe. I love the idea of an accountant winning all of that money because he can just spend all of his time counting it.
It's like the perfect thing for him, isn't it?
Another dream's come true.
Yeah.
Enjoy spending it. Good night.
Congrats. Bye-bye.